And we are continuing to follow breaking news this afternoon out of Walterboro. The Colleton County courthouse has been evacuated. That's where the trial of Alec Murdaugh is being held. And we're working to find out the cause for this evacuation. Our crew is live at the scene. We'll send it over to them now with the latest.
Good afternoon to you, Intisar. And this happened just several moments ago. We were evacuated from the Colleton County Courthouse. Pretty much all personnel inside the courthouse, those testifying, those in the jury box, those on the witness stand, the judge, and also the defendant himself, Alec Murdaugh, and his family led out of the courtroom as all of this happened. It happened about 15 minutes ago. And in the meantime, as you can see behind me, this area is being cordoned off. We have law enforcement personnel that are here. All of the media that was staging here has been directed to get out of the area and to cross the street. So why did this happen? Well, we're not exactly sure at this time. We're working to figure that out. But Judge Newman from the bench, as a forensic analyst with SLED, a computer analyst, was about to testify. He essentially called a recess saying that the building was being evacuated. He didn't give any further information. He didn't talk about any threat or anything like that, although we have heard rumors of something like that. We're working to get that confirmed. We don't want to put that out there until we know exactly what happened. But suffice it to say, in a situation like this, when you see law enforcement scrambling like they were just to get us out of the area, clearly there's something that they feel is potentially a danger here at this courthouse. So all of the media has been staged across the street. Everyone kind of ran into place here to try to get an idea as we work our sources to figure out what possibly prompted all of this. I'm going to bring in our Nick Neville here, who's standing by as well, as we work to kind of move from where we were across the scene. We saw several things, Nick, and let's go ahead and bring you into this shot as we figure out exactly what's going on, because Nick, we saw in the midst of all of this, we saw the Attorney General leave. We also saw the Murdaugh family leave. They put Alec Murdaugh in what looked like the vehicle that he arrives in, which is a Colleton County van, and they drove him out with a law enforcement escort. So we don't know if he's going to be back anytime soon. But Nick, suffice it to say, this has been a pretty frantic 10 minutes.
Right, absolutely, Greg. So a lot of confusion here, of course, as we heard testimony this morning, more testimony about Alec's alleged financial crimes. We were just starting to hear from that SLED computer crimes expert. Judge Newman came to the bench and basically made this announcement that we had to evacuate the courthouse. He did not provide any reasoning or any further details as to exactly what happened. Greg and I were in the media center at that time, which is basically across the street from the courthouse. And as I was scrambling to basically see more of exactly what was going on, I noticed Buster Murdaugh crossing the street with a deputy, along with Alec Murdaugh's brother, John Marvin. They were being escorted to the left back, and we assume in the vehicle that they came in to leave. We also, of course, as you noted, Greg, we saw Alec Murdaugh, his car leaving. We're assuming he's headed back to the Colleton County Jail at this time. Another thing to note, Judge Newman announced that we're expecting court to resume at 2:30. That's, of course, what he said about 15 minutes ago. It's unclear if that is still going to happen, of course. As Greg and I were also walking up on the grounds of the courthouse, we were told by law enforcement to get across the street. As you mentioned, they're trying to section everybody off, get them to a safe location as they try to determine exactly what was going on here. But of course, really sort of a startling development to see, the crowd of folks ushered out of the courthouse. Unclear where the jury is stationed at this point, but of course, the safety of everyone here, spectators, a top priority, especially given we've been seeing just a flood of people from all over the country come here to the Colleton County Courthouse to witness this historic trial. And we saw earlier this morning, about an hour before court resumed at 9:30, long lines of people, so long, in fact, that there were actually a number of overflow folks who had arrived to just sort of be spectators and watch the trial. Those folks had been in the media center as well. So a full courtroom, everyone filing out. Greg and I took some video that hopefully we can get to you shortly of folks filing out of the courthouse about 10 minutes ago. But of course, as you also mentioned, Greg, we've been hearing reports, rumors, different things of exactly what's going on. We don't want to put any of that out there until we get some more confirmed information. But as of right now, the testimony that we were hearing sort of seems to, of course, take a back seat.
It certainly does as this situation continues to unfold. And really what this is kind of pointing to is just it's a high-profile trial, clearly, a lot of eyes on this trial, and it just adds another layer of intrigue to this trial, just an abrupt stopping of proceedings right before lunchtime here at the Colleton County Courthouse. Judge Newman saying that the courthouse has to be evacuated again during testimony this morning that focused primarily on financial crimes that Alec Murdaugh is alleged to have committed. But just an abrupt stopping like this and everyone being ordered out of the courtroom, it's already somewhat of a heightened and tense situation whenever you're talking about testimony like this in a high-profile trial, for it to be just stopped on a dime. And all of a sudden, everybody watching this, from the gallery in the courtroom to the media, as well as all of the participants in this trial. We saw the Attorney General, Alan Wilson, as well as the defense lawyers making their way out here. One of the complexities, too, as you're watching people file out of the Colleton County Courthouse, was that we didn't necessarily want to show any faces because, after all, they could be jurors. And one of the directives in this case from Judge Newman is that the identities of these jurors cannot be disclosed in any way by the media because, after all, it could compromise the integrity of this trial. And so that was one of the complexities that we're wrestling with as all of this was happening. We're taking videos and whatnot. We don't necessarily know who we're shooting at that point on video. So you have to keep those types of things in mind as you're reporting on something like this. But in the meantime, our setup that is just right over my shoulder here, you can see it's blocked off right now by 2 law enforcement vehicles, and everyone has been moved out of that area. It's an area where all of the media has staged here over these past several days. Media outlets like ourselves, as well as others, have all of our equipment set up in that area. And so really this was a quick operation to get up and be able to bring you this information live. But what we can tell you is that court is in recess here for at least the next hour and a half to 2 hours, perhaps. Could be even longer than that, as we try to determine what exactly caused this abrupt stopping in this trial. This basically the courtroom being evacuated and the courthouse being evacuated as onlookers and everyone else is across the street working and searching to get more information. Nick brought up an important point. We've been saying it off the top of this broadcast. We're not going to say exactly what it was because we don't yet know if it was anything like a threat that was phoned in or anything like that. Although, Nick, you may have some new information in being able to kind of gather that in just the last few minutes.
Right. So we do have some new information to share with you just in the last few moments. I'm going to step out so you can get a clearer view of the situation right now with law enforcement sort of patrolling the area. We have this just into the WIS newsroom. A bomb threat was received by Colleton County Courthouse personnel. The building has been evacuated, and SLED, along with the Colleton County Sheriff's Office, are investigating this threat. So no additional information is available from SLED at this time. This, of course, coming from SLED. You can see law enforcement personnel patrolling the grounds here of the courthouse. So again, what we can confirm just in the last few minutes, a bomb threat was received to the Colleton County Courthouse just a few moments ago. And so that is the reason why we had to evacuate the courthouse and why this trial has now been put on hold. So.
Well, of course, we're going to continue to follow the very latest out here. Of course, they're vetting that bomb threat that was phoned in here. Authorities on the scene and making sure that everyone is safe, keeping us a safe distance away. I can tell you that just about 15 minutes ago, as we were working our way across the grounds, law enforcement was, they minced no words, telling us to get out of the area. They're taking this bomb threat incredibly seriously. As we mentioned, just because of the gravity of this trial, very intense trial, a lot of people with eyes on this. And certainly it's something where they want to make sure that the situation situation is completely safe and making sure that the area is clear, obviously as this bomb threat was phoned in just a short time ago. We're going to be on this, and we'll bring you the very latest on all of our platforms, WISTV.com. You can follow Nick Neville and I, Greg Adeline, on Twitter. And also, we can bring you updates throughout the day online and in our later newscasts. But that's the latest from out here outside of the Colleton County Courthouse, which is now evacuated because of a bomb threat in the middle of the Murdaugh trial. I'm Greg Adeline. Let's send it back to you.